Wide Web. Welcome to HWWS Web TV's movie reviews with Lupo and Lee. That's Lupo and Lee's movie reviews. I'm GW Pomacher. We are so lucky at HWWS Web TV to have Mark B. Lee and Robert Lupo, the Orlando Wizard, doing movie reviews. Out in the field, man, they are going to all the movies and checking everything out for you because they don't want you to go to a movie and then find out, oh my God, that was awful. Or they want to tell you first how great it was so you can go in and be ready for it. So, guys, on the screen, Mr. Mark B. Lee. How are you doing today, Mark?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Lupo and I used to do these frequently, and we had dropped off a bit. So it's nice to be back to talk about movie reviews. And the best thing I like about Lupo on this is that he doesn't he doesn't always agree with me on the movies that he's seen. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because when you see a movie, it's all personal opinions anyway. So I think if we agree too much on the same kind of movies, I think we'd probably be pretty damn boring. So it's good that we can do a sort of like a Cisco and Ebert kind of relationship here.
Absolutely. And guys, welcome back to our screen, the one and only, the Orlando Wizard. Oh, wait, guys. We have to get all excited here. It is now Dr. Wizard, Dr. Rob Lupo in the house.
Oh, he changed on us, huh?
Here you go. Dr. Lupo, how are you today, sir?
I am doing fantastic. Both Mark and I spent all last week watching 3 great movies. Well, I wouldn't say they're great movies. Some were better than others. But we watched our movies, and yeah, I have to agree with Mark. One of the best things I love about Mark, aside from that, he's just a fantastic guy, is the no, I love him to pieces. He's amazing. We have different views on films. Sometimes we agree, wholeheartedly, and then sometimes we have very varying scores. So I'm anxious to find out what Mark thought of these last 3 films that we saw.
Yeah, as am I about you. I'm really curious.
Just let them know. We have 3 movies we're going to look at today, right? Yes. 3 movies. And so, in order, what are we gonna? What movies did you guys see this week that we're going to talk about?
We saw the Gemini Man.
The Gemini Man.
Right, with Will Smith, and then we saw Maleficent, and I think we both ended on Zombieland Double Tap.
I just came out of Double Tap. So
you just
saw it yesterday. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. But I had a problem. Today's Saturday. I normally see first appearing or debuting movies on Thursday, but I was scheduled to see Maleficent, and I did not see Zombie Tap yesterday, which I could have, but I did not. But I just got out of Zombieland.
Wow, so that one's fresh. That one is still. We got to let that one still stew with Mark for a little while.
Yeah, let it stew.
Let that stew for a little while. But let's start off with Gemini Man. Will Smith's Gemini Man. And now this is the one, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm gonna have her spin up. We're gonna run a teaser real quick, and when we come, we're gonna let you guys dive into it. This is the one, if I'm not mistaken. This is the one where Will Smith has to face off against a younger Will Smith. Is that right?
Yes.
Ish. So, all right. So run that teaser, Sage, and then we'll come right back and we'll hear from Lupo and Lee and get the reviews.
All right. Yay.
I'm the best. You are obviously not the best.
When I saw him, it was like I was seeing a ghost. Like every trigger I've ever pulled. How'd he start you? Hunting, birds, rabbit? I'm guessing 19, 20 years old, the first time he ordered you to shoot a person. 25 years ago, he took my blood. He made you from me. He's been lying to you the whole time. He told you you were an orphan. And of all the people in the world to come after me, why would he send you? because I'm the best.
You are obviously not the best.
You're just trying to rattle me.
I'm trying to save you!
You made a choice to do this to me. The whole point of this thing was to give you all of Henry's gifts without his pain.
I don't want to shoot you!
Mind if I shoot you?
Henry, has this ever happened to you before? Your own government trying to kill you?
Nah, that's new. Everything that we've worked for is at stake. He has to die. He's your darkness. You had to walk through this on your own. I love you, Junior. Look what we created. You were the inspiration for all of this. Why not just make a whole army full of them? Why not? You should be flattered. You should be dead. This has to be stopped. Because what if somebody actually knew what we really are?
All right, that looks pretty awesome. The teaser looks pretty awesome. So, guys, who wants to kick it off here? Gemini Man.
You want me to go first, Robert?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay.
Go
All
ahead.
right. You know, when I first saw the trailers for Gemini Man, I really wasn't that interested in it. I thought it was going to be, you know, pretty basic, pretty trivial, something that we have not seen before in terms of duplicates facing each other. Due to the fact that this was yet another quote-unquote cloned movie, shall I say, I was impressed with the movie only because of the no, I take that back. It's not only because, I was going to say only because of the CGI work, but let's go ahead and talk about that. The CGI work was incredible. I think, in all honesty, and I'll wait until I get some questions, probably from you, Garrett, or probably from you, Lupo, and just nip this in the bud and just say I liked the movie.
All right, and Robert, how about you, man? I was looking at your face there while Mark was going.
So, basically the same thing happened to me when I saw the trailers for it. I actually didn't have a whole lot of interest. The way this was actually not one of the movies we agreed to see and review together, but it just happened to be that way. Right. When I saw the trailers, I really wasn't interested. I ended up going because several friends of mine in the Orlando area were going, and they asked me to come along, and I was like, sure, why not? I wanted to see something else, but I went and saw it. And Mark, I agree with you to a point. I thought the CGI, especially when they were doing the faces and how they communicated, was very incredible. But there was one sequence in there where the CGI, in my opinion, was ridiculous, and it yanked me out of the film. Absolutely yanked me out of the film. And yeah, it's the third sequence, because I felt the CGI was way too fast, and it didn't look natural in the film. And at that point, I was no longer in depth in the film. I was completely pulled out, and I was like, all right, it can end now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Lupo, to the fact that in today's CGI, I remember the early days when we thought CGI was absolutely incredible. It was like, oh my God, they just replaced an actor. And then as it has advanced, or as long as CGI work has been out, we've grown to get really, really used to it. And with being used to something, you become very critical. Okay, you get to the point where you're no longer amazed at the technology with CGI, but now you're more like, okay, make it better. Okay, I caught something there. Okay, come on, let's get with this thing. And I know exactly what you're talking about, Lupo. In
you know the scene I'm talking about.
I sure
right?
do know, and I agree with you 100%. Basically, the CGI work impressed the hell out of me when those two were face to face. It freaked
that's
me
my
out.
question, guys. Now, Will Smith, great action actor. He always brings an A game to action. Now, when you looked at him face to face with his younger self, or the clones, or that, that's where the CGI had its big test, right? This is where CGI, because they had to de-age him and then put him in a scene next to his natural.
That part worked.
How did you guys think
that
about
part
that?
worked
I
fine.
agree. I agree with Lupo 100%. That part was the part that amazed me because I'm looking at. Go ahead. Oh,
I would swear that they went back in time and got a younger Will Smith. It was that good.
Exactly.
It was later on when they brought in a specific sequence in the CGI that I went, that's not good at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know. Right. I think when they did pan out and started to do more full body shots with Will Smith or whatever, you can literally say, okay, that's definitely CGI, because there was some jerkiness in some of the movements where it wasn't really smooth. But I swear to you, I was watching what I thought was literally the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actor and the Bad Boy actor side by side, and I'm going, holy crap, how did the hell they do that? You know?
Okay, so let's rate that on a number of things. The CGI, as you guys said, phenomenal for it's face to face. The up closes on Will Smith, and then when you back out and you get a little action going, sounds like the techs were getting a little lazy, huh?
Even then, it was okay. It was a specific scene where they brought in a specific character that was all CGI. Until he took off his mask. That whole sequence was, I mean, if I had to compare it to old CGI in like Jurassic Park, that one scene was nowhere close as good as Jurassic Park.
Right.
And that's like 20 some odd years old. It looked like amateur CGI, like some kid in high school made that one scene.
Right.
It was that bad.
Okay, so let's look it from. Okay, so because it's an action film, it's a Will Smith job. So we're gonna go down and we'll do about 4 different categories here. We'll start with technical CGI. We know we're not at a 5 stars on CGI because you guys both got ripped out of the film at one time. So what? 3, 4, 2? Where are we at, guys?
I have to split it.
Technical.
Let me go first, Mark, on this one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So the standard CGI in the whole film, except for that one scene, I would give it an 8. That one scene was a 2.
So are we scoring 1 to 10 here?
All right, let's go. Yeah.
Okay.
So 8 for the CGI for technical, and it loses its points because of that one scene that ripped Lupo right out of it. So we lost 2 points there because that went all the way down to 2 for that one scene.
Okay.
So, So overall, I would have to, because of that one scene that basically ruined the film for me, I would have to say overall I would give it a 5 or a 6.
5 or a 6. Okay, Mark, how about you? Technical.
And we're still scoring on technical. Technical, believe it or not, I would give it a 10.
A 10. Okay.
Only because I'm as critical as Lupo. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also very forgiving. I think there was enough shock value in that movie for me on the technical aspect to make me forgive the little screw up that they did. And in all honesty, I would give it a 10. If that little screw up that Lupo pointed out had not occurred, I would have actually gave it an 11 out of 10.
Ooh.
Okay, so
if that scene wasn't in there, I probably would have given it a 10 as well. But that scene was so important to the plot, and it was done so poorly. It ripped it. I mean, my thing is I want to be engrossed in the film. And when you see something that's so blatantly bad, I was pulled completely out of the film. And I was like, I was in depth. And then I was yanked out.
It's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, so the only way I can describe this is A Knight's Tale. Do you remember that Knight's Tale?
With Heath Ledger?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Loved the movie. But every time they deviated into a rock and roll scene, it yanked me out of the film.
Yes,
so
okay.
when I'm getting ready to watch jousting, and all of a sudden I'm like,
and
it goes into scene, I'm like, you just pulled me out, and then I get engrossed in it again because the story was really good.
Yes, because the story.
And then
is
all of a
good.
sudden we're gonna do like David Bowie dancing, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
That's what this did to me.
The technical aspect for this. Okay, story, guys. Story points. Will Smith is known for his action. He's known for that, but story sometimes those are the places where Will always has a little bit of trouble in some of his films. How was the story? Were you able to suspend your disbelief? It's a clone telling, and as you guys both pointed out, you didn't go in with high expectations. Any surprises? Good story, bad story? Where are you?
Let me go on this one first,
Please.
if I can. I'm big on story, and many of you guys who've heard me preach before about movies. If I can predict it, you failed. If the dialogue is so cliche, you failed. If I think the ending sucked, you failed. Now for Gemini Man, I got a really serious problem here, and only because this is not an original story, or this is not an original concept, shall I say. I shouldn't say story, but concept. And it's basically about a cloned individual. We've seen those type of movies before. There were some surprising circumstances in the movie that I had not thought up. And it was probably during that segment, Lupo, that you didn't like, because I didn't expect that. I'm like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? And that was pretty impressive to me. So if I were to give a score 1 to 10 on the story, I would probably give it just a 7. For me, 7 is just in the good range. Okay, once you hit 8s and 9s, then that's a masterpiece. But this is not a concept that has not been touched before, so I have to leave it at a 7 on that.
Okay, Lupo, how about you, man? How's the story elements to you?
We've all watched dozens of films dealing with clones and body doubles and stuff like that. I actually was surprised by the story. I actually very much enjoyed the story. The whole thing about Will Smith, and what his job for the government was and why they were replacing him. I found a good chunk of it predictable, but it didn't detract from my enjoyment. So I'm going to go with Mark on this with a 7.
Oh,
okay, 7 for 7. All right, so we did technical and we did story. This is a Will Smith film, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put this one out there because Will is one of the things that Will is most noted for in his film career has been his wit, his quick on-the-fly wit, standout dialogue. What would you say about the dialogue here? Was it witty? Was it a Will Smith film? And any standout lines that you can recall off the top of your head that people are going to be quoting when they come out of the movie, or just, yeah.
No.
We'll start. No, Lupo's got nothing.
Lupo, your turn. Nothing. No.
Yeah.
He did say something.
There was nothing stand out about it. There was nothing stand out about it.
It
was good, and I love Will Smith. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I think he's a great actor. But in certain movies, he has absolute Will Smith lines. This was more of a serious role for him, so there wasn't the, come out of the blue, oh hell no, and it was like, I could have been at a barbecue, and stuff like that, where it's just funny.
Or Independence Day moments.
Yeah, there was nothing like that in this film. It didn't detract from the enjoyment, but it wasn't something where, in Independence Day, Will Smith was the film. All right. And in this, he shared that spotlight with the co-stars. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just about him.
Right.
It didn't detract, but there was nothing stand out, in my opinion.
It's very interesting that you said that it wasn't just about him. And you're absolutely right, because I enjoyed the co-stars just as much as I enjoyed Will Smith. And the fact that I saw a crusty old man in this movie, somebody who wanted to retire, to move along with his life, and is confronted with yet again the beginning of his career in the clone, where he's viewing this and then he becomes literally, and we don't do spoilers here, okay? We don't want to do that, but you can see him being a little upset that he was looking in a mirror, saw himself, and pretty much tried, quote unquote, to switch into a fatherly role, shall I say, without any spoilers, but you just that's where the crusty old man I saw come out of Will Smith, and I see that all the time. We see for these three old men that's on the camera right now, we see this that's right. We see this generation out there that you just want to grab by the earlobe and pull them over to the side and say, "Stop it! Don't do that because you will regret it in the end." And that's what I pretty much saw in this movie. But there was a line, Lupo, that he did say, and I'm not going to spoil this at all, of course, because that's not my forte, where he had the upper hand and he said something.
Okay.
And I'm like, see, look at this. Here is the cocky millennial, okay, still Mr. Know-it-all, think he knows everything in the world, but look where he's at right now. And it's like, how dare you? So in terms of typical Will Smith, I honestly see a grown-up Will Smith. I've seen him advance from Fresh Prince, Smart Alec Fresh Prince, all the way up into this type of role. And those are the roles that we're seeing Will Smith in right now. But it was something you said, Lupo. God, Lupo, there's something you said that made me think of an upcoming movie that you will actually, oh my God. Let's go on. Hopefully this will snap back in my head again.
So we're going to wrap this segment up with your final scores for Gemini Man. We will start, Mark and I just got done talking about Will, so we're going to go shoot over to Robert Lupo, the Orlando Wizard. Final score for Gemini Man.
Okay, and then I'll cap it with whether I would own the film or not.
Okay.
That's how we used to do it, and I kind of like that. That's always a kicker. I'm glad I saw the film. Overall, I would probably have to give the film a 6.5, and it's not a film I would own.
Okay. And Mark P. Lee, final score, final thoughts on Gemini Man.
I would give this film an 8, and I would own it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Well, guys, you didn't stop your movie-going week with Gemini Man. Will Smith wasn't the last thing on your agendas. So the next one we're going to do is Maleficent. The one and only Maleficent. Angelina Jolie brought that character to life back with the first movie in a way that I really went into that thing, because Maleficent was not my favorite bad girl from the Disney cartoons and from the stories. She just wasn't. And then I went and saw Maleficent, the first one with Angelina Jolie, and I thought, wow, yes. that was an intense movie. So we're going to play a teaser. We've got a teaser that Sage is going to cue up from Maleficent. And then when we come back on the other side, we're going to dive into Mark B. Lee and Robert Lupo's review of Angelina Jolie's Maleficent.
5 years ago, I thought I lost you forever. There is no curse that could ever tear me away from you. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Mistress, I have a little bit of news.
Don't ruin my morning.
Philip asked me to marry him.
No.
I wasn't really asking.
Nor was I. Love doesn't always end well, Beastie.
Trust me. Let us prove you wrong.
You have done an admirable job going against your own nature to raise this child. But now, she will finally get the love of a real mother. Tonight, I consider Aurora my own.
There is no union. There will be no wedding.
What have you done?
We go home now. Aurora!
Maleficent is a threat to everyone. We'll do our best to protect you.
Well, well.
One can never be too careful.
isn't you.
You do not know me.
Tell me what happened.
There was another creature.
You've spent years caring for a human. Now it's time to care for your own.
All right. First of all, wow, star-studded. Not just Angelina Jolie, but bringing the girl power to the screen in all evil ways that
Gary, can I say something real quick before you choose? Okay, don't go to Lupo first. Okay, do not go to this man first, because I am the Antichrist in this, only because I am anti-Disney.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and let that out.
Yeah.
Lupo.
Everyone who knows me, I'm a Disney fanatic.
He is so in bed with Disney that this is going to be unfair. Okay, so
saying is behind Lupo, that door behind Lupo, Mickey Mouse is on the other side of it.
Well, I honestly think Disney can do no wrong, so you shouldn't even have Lupo in this segment at all. Okay, it's just a waste. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, then let's go ahead and start with the one and only Mark B. Lee. Mark B. Lee, Maleficent.
Yeah.
Just saw the teaser, and of course, that's meant to get us riled up. So you've just seen the movie.
Yes.
Okay, Maleficent, give it to it, baby.
I have to make a confession, and this is the first time I've ever done anything like this before. And that is, I actually went to see a sequel without ever having seen the original. Yeah, look at Lupo's face. Look at Lupo's face. It has been literally on my computer forever. It was meant to be watched when I'm on a flight somewhere, okay, so I can pull it up and do it. But I don't know how this happened. I really don't know how it's happened. And it has nothing to do, and in all honesty, I'm joking. I don't have a dislike for Disney movies at all, okay? But it's the first time that I haven't seen an original, and sometimes that's a little better. If a movie can really stand up, okay, if it's just as good as the original without needing to see the original, okay. I honestly don't think it will work with Frozen. I really think that someone has to see the first Frozen movie before they think they can see the upcoming sequel. But for Maleficent, I have no idea what I missed, because the movie, in my opinion, was so good that I kind of figured out how the original went. Okay. I know the daughter that she obviously inherited and how all that worked. It doesn't mean I won't go see the original, because now I'm more interested than ever in seeing the original. But I figured out in the sequel, well, who all the players were. Okay, it was that obvious.
Disney managed to sell you a ticket or a DVD for a movie you didn't see before with the movie that you did see.
That's correct. And you're already getting a score on me, basically, because that sequel was as good as it is, it made me even more interested to give Disney my money for a DVD copy or to own a DVD copy or anything in that nature. So based on Maleficent, I really enjoyed that movie.
Awesome. Okay, now Robert Lupo. In fairness, ladies and gentlemen, the Orlando Wizard. So we're pretty sure that he's got like Mickey Mouse behind that door, because he's the Orlando Wizard. But okay, come on, Robert, what do you got? What did you think of Maleficent?
Oh
no!
I loved it. I loved it.
Okay. The mouth has let him down. Say it ain't so.
His royalty checks were just cut off there for a minute. You know?
All right, so here's the thing. I loved the first movie. I thought that was fantastic. Angelina Jolie was just amazing in the first film, and she was just as amazing in the second film. Michelle Pfeiffer actually played the bad guy.
Yes.
And,
oh, wait a minute. Is that a spoiler?
No, because she's
if any kind of spoiler, guys, if you guys saw the teaser, you already knew that.
Okay. Well, having not seen the first one, I I can only imagine what part she played in the first one.
She wasn't in the first film.
No, this was the character.
She wasn't.
Oh.
No. So
I gotta see that movie.
She was so good. I was literally hating her with a passion.
I was too, buddy boy.
I was looking at her and I was just frothing at the mouth, going, "Oh my God, such hatred!" And so that's a credit to her acting because she is, in my opinion, one of my favorite actresses. She's astounding.
Has she ever played an evil role before, though?
Catwoman.
That doesn't count as evil.
I don't think so either.
She was a bad guy. She was a bad guy in Batman.
Yeah, is a bad guy in Batman as Selena Kyle. Kind of rooted for her because you kind of, with the comic roots, you were kind of rooting for her and Bruce kind of thing. So
yeah.
Oh, if that counts. But she did sell bad in the teaser that we just saw. She sold. Oh my goodness.
She sold it.
That is bad girl right there.
There's parts in the movie where I was very upset because characters that I very much enjoyed, things happened.
Oh, you're gonna have to help me with that one offline then, because I don't
all right,
know who
you
you're
didn't
talking
see the first
about.
film, but there was a specific character that ended up demised, and that made me really sad. So the overall, when I was watching this, I was like, wait a minute, this is not how the first film ended. And I was like, what are you doing? And then it all was explained near the end. I was like, oh, okay, now it makes perfect sense. I actually really think, I think Disney hit it out of the park with this one. I really, really felt that they hit it out of the park. Yeah. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, right. That's fantastic. Okay, so guys, let's get this one. Is another movie though that this is very reliant, and of course, again, we all commented on Disney, and we did all the niceties with Disney, so we can all get checks later, maybe. I don't know. But they know what they're doing in this category. But this was another movie that was very effective. So we're gonna rate it technically once again.
Okay.
It's Disney, so put on your real curve hats here because they created this stuff.
Yeah.
So don't pull it off.
Yeah.
Problem. So, okay, technical and then story, because Lupo's intrigued me now because I saw the first one, Mark saw the second one. Both of us are saying to each other, we need to see the one we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Because it fills in all the holes. So, so we do story and then, of course, overall rating. Technically, guys, this is Disney. Did they meet their mark, or were there moments that you just didn't buy?
Hold on. We should say this at the same time, Lupo and I. The number.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do. Okay, on the count of three. No, Gary, give us a three.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Wait.
10.
10.
I want you to wait just one extra second. Okay, that's okay. 10. Technical. Well, Disney has to get a 10. If they don't get a 10, they get a 1 because they are the arbiters of this tech now, and this, especially when it comes to CGI and animation and the combination of the two for real life. If they don't get a 10 and they're the ones making this stuff, then nobody can.
I can see an Oscar in this category for Disney.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yeah, I really can.
I mean, honestly, technically, it was astounding. There was nothing in there that.
I agree.
Wow, absolutely. Wow, that is. It's hard to do.
I was like, I want to go to that land.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do, but technically, they knocked it out of the park.
They did. It's an Oscar. I honestly think it's an Oscar already. Not Endgame, unless they don't qualify for next year, but it's an Oscar. I really think that's an Oscar.
Wow, absolutely. Okay, guys, story. Again, Disney has been noted for bringing fairy tales to life, and now they have brought their versions of fairy tales to real life. Yeah. So Maleficent is a different spin. They took the story in some different directions. What are you guys' thoughts of this on the story? How did they do overall storytelling, technique, and of course, like as Mark does, dialogue? How did they do with the overall storytelling here?
Well, if I could say, the story was so good, it made me want to see the first one, because a hint to Lupo here, I didn't understand Maleficent's anger, what she was angry about, but I kind of filled in the blanks and say, oh, I got to go back and see this. Okay, because there's a whole nother situation involved in this movie which put her in the middle, and I'm like, oh, I really got to go see the first one now, you know. So in story, my answer to story would probably be 8.5 if I had to put a score on a story.
Okay, which is, by the way, out there in YouTube land and on the internet, 8.5 is from Mark B. Lee for story is a pretty decent score.
It's very high for me to do that.
That's
to be
right.
above an 8.
Especially when we're talking about a sequel.
Yes.
Sequels often have the difficulty in storytelling that they don't always have a beginning, a middle, and an end because they rely on another beginning.
And with Lupo saying that the first one or this one was as good as the first one actually tests me now because I've already given a score to a sequel. What the hell, man? Is the first one?
So Robert Lupo, back on you. Overall storytelling for Maleficent.
The beginning was a little confusing to me because it didn't take off where the other one ended. They hinted to things that were in the first film throughout this film. So there was definitely a middle, and near the end explained everything on what happened and why it didn't take off immediately after the first film. I felt it did a spectacular job. And I thought it was as good and in some ways better than the first film. I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow.
8.5 and a 9. Okay, guys. So here we go. Overall scores, and in the digital age that we live in, is this something that goes into your individual libraries? So overall score.
Wait, count us off.
All right.
You ready, Robert?
Score. And 3, 2, 1. Let's see how we do. Ready? And 3, 2, 1, go.
9.
10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can count 9 and then 10 in sequence. Okay, 9. And Mark B. Lee, is this something that you would have in your home library now?
Absolutely. And the fact that I scored it a 9, remember, is a handicap here. I did not see the first one. So I don't know if this was better than the first one. If it was a companion to the second one, I probably would have given it a 10 if I knew what the first one was all about. So now I'm going to have to go do some homework.
Ooh. Okay, Robert Lupo, you gave this an overall 10.
If you watch the first film, it's an absolute must-see.
Okay.
I felt that this film did absolute justice to the first film, and I loved how all the characters interacted, and I like how the story was told. This is absolutely a must-see, and the moment it's available in 4K, it's coming into my library.
Wow.
So,
wow.
You guys convinced me. I just told the girls to get on Fandango because I did love the first film. But again, I loved the fact that it looked at the classic tale from a different point of view, which was awesome. And now this story added to it. I'll be honest. First of all, anything Angelina Jolie is in from Hackers forward, I will go see just because cheekbones. Oh my God. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah. Talk about the cheekbones. Holy.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
They could cut ice. They could freaking cut diamonds if you just turned her head.
I'm telling you. So, but this one I wasn't real excited about, only because I was so excited about the first one. I loved it. It really left a satisfied feeling. So I wasn't excited about this until you guys talked about it on screen. So thank you. I'm looking forward to this. They've checked it off the list for Fandango. So all right, guys. The next segment, the final segment tonight, is going to be it is Halloween time, so we're going to dive into dark tales, horror tales, funny tales, whatever, all kinds of tales, but mostly we're going to do zombie tales because it's that time. So Zombieland this is the sequel to Zombieland, which was a kind of a cult classic comedy hit. When zombies first started to take over the internet and the television airwaves, Zombieland came out. Woody Harrelson brought a comedic look at Zombieland, and it's been quoted, it's been made fun of, cameo appearances from Bill Murray and everything else. So, but here we go. We're gonna run the teaser for Zombieland Double Tap, the sequel. So, Double Tap. When we come back, we'll find out if it lives up to the hype.
Yay!
It's time to nut up or shut up. Hey, Possum, eh?
Sorry, just you in that chair.
I think I would have made a damn fine president.
You would have brought a real dignity to the office.
You're welcome, America.
Welcome to Zombieland. Life is about more than just survival. We were a family. Dysfunctional, sure, but what family isn't?
Merry Christmas! What would you like, little girl?
I'd really like for you to stop calling me little girl.
Do you know what I would like?
I don't give a shit what you do.
It felt so good to be on the move again.
Whoa! Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm Columbus.
Madison.
This is Tallahassee.
Hey, Paul Blart. Is this your dad? Oh, whoopsie. I forgot the seatbelt rule.
Oh, so she knows the rules?
I told her just a few of them.
73. Are there more?
You're cute.
I like it.
My sister is gone. She picked up a boy. He's from Berkeley.
Berkeley.
You don't have weed, do you?
Do I look like the type of person that would have weed?
I'm sorry.
Boom. Yeah.
I have nothing against hippies. I just want to beat the shit out of them. We're gonna go get her. We ride it, Dawn.
Start talking.
You first. Oh, my name's Tallahassee. Die, zombie! Light 'em up! Oh, my apologies, little Elvis.
Okay, is it me, or does he kind of remind you of...
I don't like you at all.
I think you double parked. Or more perpendicular parked. Hope we don't get a ticket.
What is going on here?
What?
Hello, everyone.
Am I hallucinating?
And all right, that was Zombieland Double Tap. That's right, Zombieland Double Tap. That's the sequel to Zombieland. You guys have just seen this. Lupo saw it, I think, yesterday, the day before. Mark, you just saw this today.
I just came out of this movie probably, I don't know, 90 minutes ago.
Wow, okay, so
yeah.
Well, let's start with Lupo. He's had a little more time to digest.
Yeah.
And let the zombie rot. So let's see. Lupo, yeah, it's dad joke. This is Mark's fault. I watched Saturday morning cartoons this morning, and I caught it was. So, all right. So Lupo, hit us, man. Zombieland Double Tap. What do you think, man?
I was a big fan of the first film, and I made a point of watching the first film before I went to see the second one, so I had a refresher. And I wasn't too sure how they were going to do a continuation. There was aspects of this that I thought was really inventive. It wasn't just the same movie redone in a different part. There was things that were never mentioned in the first film and made sense. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very, very good sequel.
Okay. All right. Mark, I know you didn't see the first Zombieland.
No, I did not.
Another
movie I did not see the original of yet.
Went into Zombieland Double Tap fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I am not a horror fan, okay, but this may sound weird. I was a Walking Dead fan, big time. Saw a majority of all the seasons, and I am a huge fan of World War Z. And of course, these both are serious depictions of a zombie apocalypse. I am also a fan, going to another genre here, of Shaun of the Dead, and that was probably the first and honestly only comedic take on the zombie apocalypse that I've ever seen, and I thoroughly enjoyed.
Zombie lore, or in the zombie horror vein, if you will, Shaun of the Dead is probably seen as the seminal comic zombie film.
Right, and I just see it needing to be that way. Okay, because if a zombie apocalypse, I think, actually happened here in my neighborhood, I'd probably be laughing my ass off the entire way of them chewing out my liver. So this take on the zombie apocalypse was very enjoyable for me, believe it or not. When I put up on my Facebook page, as soon as I got out in this movie, I usually score a movie 1 to 10 or whatever. And what I actually did, I put WTF exclamation point, because I didn't know what it was I just watched. Well, of course I knew what it was I just watched. I enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious. Woody Harrelson is the bomb wherever you put him. What's the guy that played Lex Luthor, who was his sidekick? Woody's sidekick. His real name. Lupo, you know?
I'm not off the top.
Yeah, but anyway, he was funny. It was a very interesting movie. I'll leave it at that for now.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this one has multiple facets because it's the zombie apocalypse. It is a comedy. It has some very well-known actors and actresses in it. So we're going to and of course, you never know who you're going to see in a Zombieland movie too. As I alluded to in the first Zombieland, my favorite part was actually them spending some time with Bill Murray, which was hilarious in the first Zombieland. So here we go. Favorite, without spoilers, guys. We don't want to dive too far into this. We don't want to spoil the movie for anybody. But without spoilers, favorite character actor portrayal in this Zombieland, Lupo.
Oh, I really can't give you a favorite because the main characters in this film. My least favorite is Berkeley. That was my least favorite character.
Berkeley. Who is Berkeley?
He was the
yes.
Yeah,
yes,
Berkeley.
Agree.
He was
100%.
my least favorite because every other character, everybody else really brought it to the film.
Yes.
And I thought Berkeley was one of those characters where if you didn't have him in the movie, it would have been just fine.
Yes, I agree. He was a waste of a character.
Okay.
He was, because I think he could have been played brilliantly by somebody else, but the actor who played Berkeley, I don't feel brought it.
Okay.
Okay, so you didn't do a best yet, but you did a worse. So
the best wise, I think everybody else that was a quote unquote main character, even the sub main characters, were brilliantly portrayed. Brilliantly. So I can't pick one out of them because they all fit their parts perfectly and made sense to the story. Every single one of them, except for Berkeley.
That's good acting. That means they brought their A game, and it was a true ensemble piece, right? So
yeah, I mean, even the, I don't want to say clones, but the duplicate characters who I consider sub characters were awesome.
They were
freaking awesome.
They were,
you know.
Okay.
So so I don't have a favorite.
I have a. All right. So Mark, stand character.
I agree with Lupo on the least favorite. That's, I think, should be unanimous for anybody who goes sees the movie. Unfortunately, I have two favorites, but one's actually in a first place and one's in a second place.
Okay.
There were two favorites, and the second place favorite actor or character, shall I say, in this movie was Woody Harrelson's character. Okay, that was second place for me. Having not seen the first movie, okay, I'm seeing this for the first time, Zombieland for the first time, the second movie. I just could. I kept banging my head on the back of the chair, the guy in front of me, for the first place favorite character, and that was that ditzy blonde.
Oh my God, she was hilarious.
That was the ditzy blonde. She just took it over the top
eyes
of me.
roll. She literally makes her eyes roll several times. In the movie, you're like going, "Oh my god!"
You know what, though, Lupo?
Well, in the first Zombieland, we're following Jesse Eisenberg's character, and we're watching him as he learns the survival ropes, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the ditzy blonde, though.
This one is filling that void, but in a ditzy way.
Yeah, but
No,
I'm
not really.
serious.
Not
Lupo,
really.
no. It's just an additional character, not filling a role
Okay.
or filling a void.
It's cheese.
Lupo,
Yeah,
I
she's
thought
like
when
the
I
epitome
saw
of a Valley
that.
Girl.
Yeah, I thought when I saw that, I'm like, I know this actress isn't like this in real life, and she ought to just get an award just for portraying what drove me insane.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay, guys. So next category up, because this is the zombie apocalypse. We're going to try to rate this. And of course, now, Mark, you had just said you are a Walking Dead fan, a World War Z fan. Okay. These are serious monster zombie flicks. So special effects and makeup art. What do you guys think? How'd they do?
Well, I think the craft has basically, just like CGI, taken itself to a norm. I don't think there's anything they can do that could impress me when it comes to blood and gore. I really think it's just normal. If there's nobody out there who wants to be a CGI professionalist in blood and gore, if they can't do what I think is the most simplest of things that's being done these days, then they shouldn't even try to enter that market. So in terms of special effects, it's kind of hard to grade that because it's normal. It's everyday stuff that isn't different.
Well, that's a grade in and of itself, right? It's normal. You were there. You were in the room. You felt that there were zombies in the room, that there was blood and guts in the room. So that was success, right? Because horror films has a huge B movie community. To this day, horror films there are lots of indie horror films, and that is one of the places where the indie market misses the mark many times, is the special effects and the makeup, because it doesn't suspend your disbelief sometimes.
Yeah, this was not award-winning work.
Okay.
In this movie, it just isn't. It doesn't come anywhere close.
Okay.
It's normal.
But it's normal. Okay, Lupo, how did you, man? Special effects, makeup art here. Did it stand out to you, or was it just on par or below par?
So, kind of in a nutshell, I actually agree with Mark on this as well. It was above standard. So this was obviously, I've seen enough B movie to go, that is the stupidest, fakest thing I've ever seen. This looked real enough where it was able to suspend your. I didn't think I'd ever, after I saw Shaun of the Dead, until I saw the first of the films, and then this one as well. There was specific because of how they were portrayed, and you were. I don't think there was anything in here that made me go, "Oh my God, this is Oscar material," but it did its job appropriately to maintain the level of disbelief.
Agreed.
Awesome. Okay, which brings us to the next question on the list. The next category on the list is, this is a horror comedy. Is it more horror? Is it more comedy? What should they expect when they go in? More horror, more comedy?
Yes.
Mark, we'll start with you.
Ooh.
He's still laughing, so I'm going to go with he left really amused.
It, of course, is in my opinion more comedy than it is horror. When Lupo, you remember the scene how one of the zombies got access to a door. Are we frozen? Can you guys see or hear me, Lupo?
I got you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, you were freezing up a little bit on your end there, Lupo, coming through me. But my question was, of course, this was more comedy to me. And did you see the scene of how one of the zombies got access to a door?
A door.
Yeah. Did you hear me on that, Lupo?
Yeah. What was after the doors?
Well, there was a victim on the other side of the door, and
yes. I thought I'm like, oh, clever girl.
yeah, very clever girl. But no stinking zombie would think of that, so you know that was comedic.
Wow. Okay. Robert,
remember that there was. Yeah, so they actually explained why that happened.
Where?
And I don't. In the film, they talked about how some zombies maintained their intelligence.
Yes. I understand what you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly.
So that was explained.
There.
Yes, got it.
Oh, that's a great day.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm sorry, Garrett. I'm hearing both of you. What? What'd you say, Lupo?
Maintain some of their intellect. That's a bad day, guys.
Well, don't say that.
No,
we don't want to.
It gets worse.
We don't want to ruin it. We're not going to ruin it.
So they explained that in that scene. So it didn't go. I didn't go, what the hell? I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it. As to, in fact, horror or comedy, it was a horror comedy. I would say it was very much like Shaun of the Dead. You're supposed to laugh and enjoy it, and it's exactly that type of movie. It's a very Shaun of the Dead, or it's exactly like the first film where there was horror aspects of it, but you were supposed to laugh throughout the film.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys. I told you all earlier my favorite part of the first film. So, in these kinds of movies, especially these ensemble pieces, they're noted for bringing on some decent cameos. Any standout cameos that came on? Anybody that just kind of went, "Oh my gosh, that person is here doing this"?
Well, Lupo, did you stay?
Yes, I did.
Did you stay?
But we can't talk about it.
Exactly.
Oh,
all we can say is the norm, just like any Marvel movie, don't get up.
Stay until the very end of credits.
Yes, don't get up.
All right, guys, time to get down and dirty, time to get serious here.
Yeah.
So here it is. Overall scores for Zombieland Double Tap, and would you have it in your personal library? So let's start with Robert Lupo. Robert Lupo, overall score, Zombieland Double Tap, and would you have it in your personal collection?
I really enjoyed this, and was it on par with Maleficent? I would say it was very much on par with Maleficent, but it was such a different film. I would have to give it a healthy 9, and I would absolutely own this, and I would own it in 4K.
Wow.
Lupo's going to have quite the video collection when he's done with this.
Yeah.
I already have quite the video collection. Thank you very much.
Rating, sir, and would you own it?
He said he would, yeah.
Yeah.
He said he would have it in.
Mark, would you own it, and what's your overall rating?
This is why I like doing movie reviews with this man. I think this is probably why people should tune into us, because you can always discover with our movie reviews that we're never going to totally agree, and that's how it should be. Just like husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, if you are agreeing to anything your partner agrees with, you're with the wrong person, okay? This movie...
We've flat out disagreed on many a film in the past.
Exactly. And this is the way it should be. Varying opinions in this country is what makes our American values 100% solidified. I give this movie a 7, and hell no would I own this sucker.
Okay, a 7.
To be fair,
Seven's a good movie, experience. And you went out to the theater, but you wouldn't own it. It's not something that you want to see over and over again.
To be fair with this, he never saw the first film.
Yes.
True.
So that does make a big difference.
Well, hold on now.
Okay.
Because I did see this second movie, I probably won't go see the first movie.
The opposite of Maleficent factor there. The opposite happened. You won't.
Yes.
Okay. So, Lupo, in your opinion, though, since you did see the first one, is this a movie that requires its prequel?
No.
Or did it really?
That's good to hear. You saved me some money.
There's a couple of lines in there that refer to the first film.
Okay.
And they make a lot more sense if you've seen the first film, right?
Okay.
In fact, Mark, the very, very ending credits,
Yeah.
that is fully explained.
Well, it's
in the first film.
interesting that you said that because I think Garrett has been misinformed.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain this to you without doing a spoiler.
Yeah.
But you really have to stay until the screen is dark.
Okay.
And what Lupo is saying about the first film did not occur at all in the second. If that makes any sense. So what you were talking about, not existent in this film.
But all the way back.
But stay until movie end. And it's really interesting, Lupo, for someone that didn't see the first film, there was a term that was used in that movie. And I'm like, what did she say? And then all of a sudden, at the end of the movie, I went, well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. You've been watching Let's Go to the Movies on HWWS Web TV. That was Lupo, that was Lee, and I'm G, and we're out.